Welcome back to another episode of the Level Up Climbing Series. I'm Marcus, a not-so-great climber from Vancouver, Canada, who's hoping to get a little bit better through analysis and an increased motivation for climbing. Here we are today in Coco. We are working on just trying pretty much everything in the gym. This entire gym was a new set for me for the most part, and there was a lot to climb. Started off on this black 4 hex, which had a pretty tough mantle move at the top. I wouldn't say it was actually that tough. Just on my first attempt, it felt pretty hard. But after trying to get a little better grip on that higher hold and better understand the move, it was not too bad in the end. This was also the first climb of the new year, so I hope everyone had a good holidays. And I'm climbing without tape on my left hand. I had sustained a finger injury and I had been using tape the whole time, but I've been feeling pretty good and decided that I'd try and go without tape, and for the most part my whole session felt really good. Still no pain. It had been a month without pain, and even without the tape I was feeling really good. This purple 4 hex though was pretty crimpy, and the lack of finger strength was really getting to me there. So on this blue 5 hex, it starts with this toe hook, and it took me quite a while to find the right spot, but once I hit it, it felt pretty solid. And looking at it, I didn't actually think this blue 5 hex was going to be too difficult. These holds were pretty decent. The whole thing was, can I keep that toe hook in? And unfortunately, every time as I move right, it becomes harder and harder to hold that toe hook. You can tell from the foothold, clearly it wants to be further left. And so on this attempt, I try and match it, and that didn't quite work. So I try and just work on this top section by what I call integrating by parts. So trying just the top section here. I think that I can, I try seeing if I can place the left foot up first, but that doesn't quite work. And if you look at my left hand, the main thing here is I shift my left hand as far right as possible so that I can make the match work. And doing that makes it feel a lot better. So watch the left hand as, didn't quite work there. And yeah, I just started having a lot of trouble trying to keep this toe hook in. But here you can see my left hand is way further right. So I wasn't sure how to make that work exactly. But once I'm matching the right blue circle, it's not the worst. And I was trying to find a way just to get to that next hold. I think I can just throw and catch that, and I was pretty confident that I'd be able to do that. But when I came back to the start, I was finding sticking this toe hook way harder than it was before. And I'm not entirely sure as to why. I wasn't sure if I was too high, too low. It was taking me a lot more attempts to try and find that toe hook. And so essentially, I think this climb came down to a lot of micro beta for me that I just wasn't able to put together. Like, I know the first move is a toe hook, but not knowing exactly where on that hold I'm supposed to be hooking was pretty frustrating. And then even when I do stick the toe hook, let's see if I stick it. Yeah, no. Clearly it's taken me a lot of tries to try and stick this toe hook, and it was really frustrating because I was doing this no problem before, and all of a sudden I just wasn't sure where on the toe I was supposed to be hitting. So even when I do stick it, the toe just comes out later. And by this point, I was like pretty upset. I've been working on this climb for quite a while, and just to be getting stuck on that first move was so annoying. But as I was saying, yeah, it's just a lot of micro beta that I wasn't really remembering. Like there, I was supposed to double toe hook, and I just forgot. And all those small things I was saying about moving the left hand further right, yep. So eventually I just gave up. And later on I also noticed that, yeah, part of the rubber was coming off of my shoe. I don't know if that played any part, but I spent a lot of time trying to toe hook that hold. Next was this black 5 hex. I will say when I looked at it, I thought it looked pretty easy, but I saw a lot of people fall. And my brother was saying that he thinks it's a pretty hard climb. So I was pretty determined to try and get this. This also seemed very much my style. I do feel like I'm usually pretty good on dual text holds, and it looked very like physically demanding, but not too demanding on the fingers. But I just had to get around this corner first, as I was having trouble seeing the left hold and trying to hit the right spot. So here I'm constantly hitting the bottom part of the hold, and I just need to get higher. So I kind of visualize where exactly I need to go. And on this attempt, I managed to hit it. And from here, I thought it was going to be not too bad. This part of the wall is slightly slabby. So I'm able to just like walk up the wall there, find this heel hook, and get into a Gaston, which I love Gastons. Unfortunately, I take the heel hook out with a bit too much momentum, and I kind of come swinging out. So I took some rest and tried to put it all together again. So yeah, we go up the wall into the heel hook, into the Gaston. This time coming out a little bit slower, trying to make sure I stick the left foot. There's a tiny foot chip that you probably can't see. And then with my hand on the finish, I was happy to get this 5 hex. So great way to start off the year. First session of the year, landing a 5 hex was amazing to do. Unfortunately, on this blue 4 hex, as you saw, I kind of just ate it. And I think it's a really cool 4 hex. It's pretty dynamic, coordination move. For some reason, though, I just could not coordinate myself to get this. For some reason, my brain kept wanting to go to the further higher hold. And with the hold being so low, my body just could not learn it. And it was weird because the movement was something that I've definitely done before, but the placement of my hand was just so strange to me. I kept aiming way too high and not hitting the good part of the hold. So here you see I'm just like practicing grabbing that hold. I can easily make the distance. It was just all down to coordination. But yeah, I was finding it really difficult. This is the type of problem I really, really like though. Ones where you know you're like physically capable of it, but it's just a matter of trying to figure it out. But these are also the types of climbs that are the most frustrating because you know that you're capable of it. So just trying to lock in and really get it was just super hard. So this black 4 hex is the last climb of our session. Yeah, we unfortunately got to the gym later than we were expecting and had to leave soon after. So we didn't end up trying nearly as much as we probably would have liked. Plus I did spend quite a long time on those other climbs. But yeah, I thought this black 4 hex was pretty cool. You come across and dino to these 2 holds. And from there, it was pretty straightforward. I didn't really think there was any chance I was going to fall here. So a fairly soft 4, but overall, I was just happy that I had gone at least the 5 there, and felt like overall I was climbing all right. So here we are in Hive Surrey, working on this pink 3 hex. Still kind of part of my warm-up. I felt like really smooth on this climb. I'd say I actually like this climb as a 3. The body positioning was pretty solid, and although it's a little crimpy, they actually feel really good if you sit underneath them properly and weigh the legs. I thought this black 4 hex was really cool. It starts with this kind of coordination where you go on the volume and try and stick a toe hook on the left. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's also a little screw-on hold where the right thumb is. So you're kind of just trying to hit the right thumb, hit the hands, and land it. And I kept getting into kind of the right position, but I was struggling really to just hold it. And I couldn't quite figure out for a while what exactly I was doing wrong. And again, kind of like that blue climb I was saying, these climbs, sometimes it just feels like you just need enough attempts. And finally, we're getting a little closer, and you see me raising my left hand. And I'm saying, oh, I'm going to focus on really pressing down with that left hand. And that's how I managed to finally get the stick. And I wasn't sure how good the lower hold was going to be, but it was better than I thought. So I ended up going for that instead. Yeah, this next hold, that left hand is pretty juggy. But yeah, I was happy to figure out that the main thing I needed to do differently there was to really press with that left hand down while pressing with the right hand up. I would have assumed both hands were to press up, but once I realized that it was left hand press down, it was not too bad. That said, that top part was still like a little scary for sure. Definitely some micro beta on it. This green 3 hex was pretty simple. Just the small little dino partway. And at the time this was new, I was unsure what this was graded. My brother thought it was going to be a 4, but it did end up getting graded as a 5 hex, and I thought it was hard. I just could not figure out exactly what to do here. Was I supposed to go for the heel hook, toe hook? And I think mentally thinking it was a 4 hex was also frustrating because I felt like I should be able to do this, but again, really hard. I tried to go for a drop knee there, but here I'm practicing just this middle part, and I do manage to stick it with the toe hook. But this next move, I also found just very difficult. And I felt like that really hurt my right bicep. You can see at the end there, I just kind of go to touch it. I think you really have to make that next move. I was really pulling with that right arm. And for the rest of the session, my right bicep just felt awful. This yellow 4 hex was one that was being taken down. So I want to give it another try to see if I've gone any better over the last few weeks since I've last tried it. When I last tried it, I couldn't even really get off the start, and I just lacked the ability to really like tense my body there. I just feel like when I am in this position, I am kind of kicking my foot. As I'm pressing with the foot, I'm kind of kicking myself off the wall. And it's really hard to stay on the wall as I'm just pushing myself off. But I also need the foot because I can't just campus that first move. This pink 4 hex was one that's been around for a bit, and I was just waiting until my finger was feeling a little bit better before I hop in. Because the first part does have some crimps, but I actually think, now that I think about it, I stayed off it because of these slopers. And yeah, these slopers were giving me quite a hard time here. This next move is just really big. So I was deciding between a heel or just a toe, and I kept getting so close to this next hold. So here I try a heel instead, seeing if it'll let me go a little further. And although it does, I just didn't feel it felt as good. So again, I try and integrate by parts, just trying to figure out what should I do best here, and just study the top part. And yeah, on this go, I make it just barely. And I realized the top part is not that bad, so it gives me confidence that once I stick that move, I will be able to get the rest. But I think this first part just kind of tires me out just enough that I just can't make the distance. And I don't know if you saw there, I do go for a heel hook, which seems to be a common issue that I'm having, where I'll decide on a beta and I'll do something slightly different. So I need to unlock that inner dancer in me, and try and remember the choreo better. Remember the beta. I tried using the lower. There's a hold just below it there on that attempt, but that still didn't feel great either. And so just to end off the session, I hopped on some easier climbs. Again, just feeling pretty tired from the week. This was the first week of January, and obviously there was a lot of holiday celebrations before this, so just a little tired, and just wanted to focus on keeping my body moving. So yeah, this 3 hex was pretty much a breeze for the most part. The only move that seemed a little tough was this last move here at the end, trying to hold that heel and coming cross body. I don't know if that was the intended beta. The way I did it definitely felt sketchy. And yeah, for the end here, just hopped on this pink 4 hex again. Thought I'd give it one last go before I end off the session. So this time remember to stay with the toe, and I'll make it.